Have you ever wondered if there's a kernel of truth in the spine-chilling urban legends that circulate our world? These tales, whispered in hushed tones or shared around flickering campfires, are more than just stories. They are cultural artifacts, reflecting our deepest fears and curiosities. Urban legends, with their eerie ambiance and tantalizing mystery, have a unique way of capturing our collective imagination. So, fasten your seatbelts, or perhaps hide under your blankets. Prepare to delve into 5 of the most chilling urban legends, their origins, and the eerie stories that surround them. Our first tale hails from the dark corners of British folklore, the haunting legend of Bloody Mary. This spine-chilling tale traces its roots back to the turbulent times of 16th century England, a period rife with political intrigue and dark magic. At the heart of this eerie legend is a shadowy figure known only as Bloody Mary, a name that has been whispered in hushed tones by generations of trembling children. The story goes that Bloody Mary was once a living woman, a practitioner of the dark arts who met a gruesome end. It is said that her spirit was trapped between the realms of the living and the dead, and can be summoned through a chilling ritual. It involves standing before a mirror in a dimly lit room, repeating Bloody Mary 3 times. This ritual, seemingly innocent, is believed to call forth the vengeful spirit of Bloody Mary herself. The consequences, so the stories warn, are dire. Over the centuries, there have been numerous accounts of encounters with Bloody Mary. Some speak of a terrifying apparition appearing in the mirror, her face distorted by rage and malice. Others tell of strange happenings following the ritual, from unexplained noises to objects moving of their own accord. The most chilling tales, however, involve those who dared to summon Bloody Mary, and were never seen again. One famous story hails from the late 19th century, where a group of schoolgirls decided to test the legend. They performed the ritual and were found the next day, huddled together in fear, unable to speak of what they had seen. Another popular tale comes from mid-20th century America, where a young woman reportedly vanished after daring to summon Bloody Mary at a sleepover. Her disappearance remains unsolved to this day. Whether you believe it or not, the legend of Bloody Mary continues to send shivers down the spines of those daring enough to utter her name. Our next urban legend takes us on a terrifying journey along the lonely highways of America, the vanishing hitchhiker. This eerie tale has its roots in the early 20th century, a time when automobiles began to dominate transportation, and the open road beckoned with promises of adventure and mystery. The legend of the vanishing hitchhiker is as enigmatic as it is chilling. It typically unfolds with a lone driver, often on a desolate stretch of road. When they encounter a hitchhiker, the driver, moved by compassion or obligation, offers a ride. During the journey, they engage in casual conversation with the hitchhiker, often revealing personal details or imparting cryptic messages. But the true terror of this urban legend lies in its climax. When the driver reaches the hitchhiker's destination and turns to say goodbye, they find the backseat empty. The hitchhiker, without a trace and without explanation, has vanished. Variations of this story have surfaced all across America, each with its unique spin, yet sharing common elements. From a young woman seeking a ride home from a dance, to a silent old man pointing to a house just around the bend, these spectral passengers all share the same fate. They disappear as mysteriously as they appear. In some versions, the driver later learns that their passenger had died years ago, often on that very stretch of road. In others, the driver finds an item left behind by the hitchhiker, only to discover it disappearing or turning into an ethereal token, further deepening the mystery. The vanishing hitchhiker, in its myriad forms, taps into our primal fears of the unknown. It plays on the eerie solitude of desolate highways, the transient nature of hitchhikers, and the unsettling possibility of encounters with the supernatural. Despite its roots in the early 20th century, this urban legend continues to endure, morphing and adapting with the times, but always retaining its core elements of mystery and fear. The vanishing hitchhiker remains a chilling reminder of the unknown dangers lurking on those desolate, moonlit roads. Flying into our third urban legend, we venture into the eerie town of Point Pleasant, West Virginia, home of the Mothman. In the mid-20th century, a legend was born, one that would send chills down the spine of even the bravest souls. The legend of the Mothman, a winged creature with glowing red eyes, began in the 1960s, when a group of friends reported seeing a man-like figure with wings soaring over the desolate roads of the town. The sighting sparked an inexplicable fear among the residents, turning their peaceful nights into sleepless ones. In the months that followed, more sightings of the Mothman were reported, each one more terrifying than the last. The residents lived in a state of constant fear, never knowing when the Mothman would make his next appearance. But the real horror was yet to come. In December 1967, the Silver Bridge, a bustling artery connecting Point Pleasant to Ohio, tragically collapsed during rush hour traffic, taking the lives of 46 people. The catastrophe was devastating, but what made it even more chilling was the fact that numerous Mothman sightings had been reported near the bridge in the days leading up to the collapse. This eerie coincidence ignited a media frenzy, linking the Mothman sightings to the bridge disaster. Newspapers, radio broadcasts, and television shows all over the country picked up the story, amplifying the legend of the Mothman. The creature became a symbol of doom, a harbinger of disaster, and the embodiment of the town's deepest fears. In the years that followed, the sightings of the Mothman became less frequent, but the legend never faded. It continued to live on in the hearts and minds of the people of Point Pleasant, a chilling reminder of a time when fear reigned supreme. Today, the town pays homage to its infamous resident with a Mothman museum and an annual Mothman festival, keeping the legend alive for future generations. Though the sightings have dwindled, the legend of the Mothman continues to haunt the residents of Point Pleasant and beyond. Our fourth urban legend introduces us to the most unsettling visitors you could ever encounter, the black-eyed children. This chilling tale finds its roots in the late 1990s internet forums, where the first accounts of encounters with these eerie entities began to surface. As the stories go, these are seemingly normal children at first glance, but there's a twist. Their eyes are entirely black, devoid of any white or color, creating an uncanny appearance that strikes fear into the hearts of those who meet them. In most stories, the black-eyed children appear at the doorsteps of unsuspecting residents, asking to be let in. They speak in an eerily mature manner, often insisting on entering to use the phone or to get a ride home. Yet despite their pleas sounding reasonable, those who encounter them can't shake off an overwhelming sense of dread, a primal fear that warns them not to let these children inside. But where do these children come from? Why do they instill such fear? The answers remain as elusive as the children themselves. Some suggest they might be ghosts of lost children, while others speculate about extraterrestrial origins. Yet, no definitive proof has been found, and the mystery of the black-eyed children continues to perplex us. Despite the lack of concrete evidence, the fear these stories inspire is real. Many who claim to have encountered these children report feeling an inexplicable unease, a chilling terror that lingers long after the children have disappeared. This pervasive fear, this sense of dread, is what makes the legend of the black-eyed children so compelling and so hauntingly memorable. So, the next time there's a knock on your door late at night and you find a child standing there, asking to be let in, take a closer look at their eyes. If they're black as the night, remember the legend of the black-eyed children? Next time there's a knock at your door, you might want to think twice before opening it. Our final urban legend brings us face to face with the digital age's own monster, Slender Man. This terrifying entity was born not from whispered tales around a campfire but from the depths of an internet forum in 2009. Conjured up during a competition to create the most unsettling paranormal image, Slender Man quickly took on a life of its own. This eerie specter is often depicted as a tall, thin figure, faceless and dressed in a black suit. His elongated limbs add to his haunting appearance, and he is said to have a penchant for stalking and abducting children. His story quickly spread like wildfire across the internet, evolving and growing more sinister with each retelling. But the influence of Slender Man didn't stop at the boundaries of the digital world. In a grim reflection of the power of belief, this online myth seeped into the real world. A chilling incident in Wisconsin in 2014 saw two young girls attempt to murder their friend, claiming it was to appease Slender Man. This horrifying event underscored the dark impact this digital phantom could have on impressionable minds. As we've seen, sometimes the most terrifying monsters are the ones we create ourselves.